Hello, welcome to the Nifty Scrapbooker. Today we're going to make this beautiful tag together. So this is going to be a little longer video than normal, but I wanted to show you actually how to make a tag like this. Believe it or not, it started out just as white paper, and with all the different things I've done to it, it creates this beautiful tag. And believe it or not, those paper clips are just paper. All right, let's get out. What I've done is I kind of pre-cut everything out for us already. There's our tag. Here's our film strip. And here's all the little pieces that we have that go with it. So I've already colored, oops, let's get all of them out of that envelope. There we go, there we go. I've already colored the leaf. It's already green, and I did that with a distress spray, a distress spritz, and that one was done in Mowed Lawn. And then we have some other things here we're going to go through, and we're going to start off with, these are the three things that we need to distress. These are the things that have already been cut out of the paper, or, whoops. What I did with these little push pins here is I just cut them out in silver, and I cut them out in blue, then I cut the tip off of the blue to make them look like a real push pin. I have some binder clips that weren't in my original. There's no binder clips on this one, but we're going to see if we can implement them in there since I found them in my stash. So we're just going to put this stuff off to the side. There's my ticket cut out in avocado green. And we'll just push that stuff off to the side now of the site. And then we'll work on this set right here. So we'll put that one up there out of the way. And we'll work on distressing this. Now what I did with this first is I got out my vintage photo ink. And I've got my ink pad here, my ink dauber. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to distress the sides. And what I'm using to work on is the Craft Media Mat by Creative Memories. So we're just going to ink this sides. Be a little heavy on it. It's fine, because we're going to be doing all kinds of things on this. Get those corners. Make sure you have a nice juicy ink pad. You'll get nice good remarks. We're going to be using this ink also to stamp. So the numbers on our piece, but first we're going to give it some distress inks and stuff. And so let's get busy on that. We're not going to worry about that hole there and shading that, because we're going to be covering that up with this little tag here that we're going to make later on, make it look more coppery looking. So there we have our distress ink sides. Now we're going to take two different distress spritzes. Oh, these have sat for a few days, so I need to get them activated. So distress spritzes need to be activated. You actually shake them until you hear that little ball rolling. Hear that rolling in there? So that will help us get these shook up so it's mixed properly. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take our distress spritz here, and I'm going to make a shield here with my other pieces, because I don't want to get them sprayed. We're just going to spritz some green on here. Be a little heavy. We're going to spritz some of that's Mowed Lawn. And then I have Uncharted Mariner. We're going to spritz it in the places where we didn't spritz the green. Maybe come back in with a little heavier green. You can shake that a little more. Get it a little green mixed up a little bit more in there. There we go. Don't be afraid to get a little heavy on it, because what we're going to do is we're going to take these, and then we're going to dry them. I have the Heat It tool by Ranger. It's a great little tool to help get this dry. To aid in the dry time, what you can do also, if you're having problems with it, I got this a little heavy-handed. So you just this is what I use to wipe my stamps with, what I use to clean up glue with, to clean off my mat here, is I'm just going to lay this on top of here, absorb some of that extra puddle, and it's going to put actually a texture on it from the microfiber cloth. So that's going to be cool. And then I'm going to pick this up here real quick, go ahead and wipe off my media mat. so I don't make a mess here. And then we're going to hit this with the air gun again. And that's going to create a texture on the, and this spritz, what it has mica in it. So what it's going to do, it's going to give us a sheen like you haven't seen in like the distress sprays. The distress sprays are simply the ink, but these spritzes are the ink plus mica powder. So it creates this great, that looks pretty dry. And you can see already we have this sheen on there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this product here, which is Foundry Wax, shake it up real good. I'm going to get a little piece of paper, if I can find a piece of scrap paper here that isn't too oversized. We'll just take this envelope that we used, because I like to use this not directly on my product. I like to dab it off. There we go. Okay, what we're going to do is we're just going to put a little dab of this Foundry Wax. This is the sterling. It's the silver. And we're just going to put a couple daubs of it. There, it comes out kind of chunky. Oh, my goodness. It was chunky. It sprayed all the way over there. But you know what? Mistakes always breed creativity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this. I'm going to swirl this wax onto here. What it's going to do is it's going to create a silver sheen. Go pick some of that up, come in these other spaces, and create a silver sheen. Maybe in some of these spaces that didn't have it. Put it up here. I know this is going to be covered up, but the outside of it will be kind of silvery. And it's just going to make a different look to our tag here. Put some silver in here where that blue isn't. There we go. And so that's what I did with the other one. I didn't spurt it out like that because that got clogged there, looked like. And so we're going to just discard that rest of that wax. We're going to clean up my finger and my desk space here with my microfiber cloth and get that wiped up. If you have a little hard time getting up something, a little bit of water here with my spritzer will help get that up, especially the inks. Luckily, it didn't get on my other products up here in the line out of camera sight, but it did squirt up that eye. So, okay, there we go. We got our tag. Now we're going to make it even more interesting with some stamping. So, the stamping I use is the Misty, and I like using it to stamp. And we're going to be using a couple different stamps here. So the first stamp we're going to be using is this stamp set from Tim Holtz. It's a set of 3 stamps. They're deciding to come off, so we'll get those back on there. And it's called Reflections. And so we're going to be using this number stamp. I decided the numbers would be kind of cool. They're kind of backwards, so that's kind of makes it not so prominent on the tag. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to stamp this several different times. So I'm going to put my tag in the middle of my Misty here. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to kind of line it up with one of these lines, keep everything straight. And we're going to start at the very top of our stamp. We're going to line it up too. Oh, I forgot. With the Misty, if you're using a rubberized stamp, but this is a rubber stamp, you take this mat out. That's for acrylic stamps, and for rubber stamps, you take that mat out. So we're going to try this again. Line this up on the line, stamp it down, line this up with a line. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be picking this stamp up. We'll move that one out of the way. We'll be coming over here, and with our vintage photo, I told you we're going to be using this ink a little later on. We're going to start stamping our numbers. Get that good on there. Now, it doesn't matter how good the impression is. Remember, this is just a background to the stamp. It's just going to blend in with everything else, but give it a lot of texture and stuff. So there we go. We got that. We're going to move this up here. Move our stamp down here. You don't have to line it up exactly, but I want to get it close. Sorry if I get my head in the camera. I apologize if I do. We're going to grab it. It's already started to stamp a little bit there where I had it. So give that a good inking. And we're going to be using our little tool here to press that onto there. This just gives it some more dimension and character. And then we're going to be coming in a third time with this one on the bottom. So we're going to press that down on there. It's already started pressing in there. We're going to stamp with our ink our stamp there. Come in with the last impression. Sorry if I bumped the camera. My apologies. I'm working around a boom. Okay, now we got all that down. What we're going to do is we're going to take this off for a minute. We're going to wipe because we have some excess ink on our stamping platform. We're going to wipe it clean. I told you this microfiber cloth is what I used to clean all my stamps off with. So we're going to take it and clean this stamp off real good. I tell you, and what I love about the microfiber cloth is it takes off the ink. As you can see here, the ink is transferred onto the cloth. I get them at Dollar Tree. They're like 2 or 3 for $1.25. And they're in the hardware, the automotive section for cars. But you can get these microfiber cloths and they clean stamps wonderfully. So we're going to set that stamp aside. We're going to grab our next stamp that we're going to use. And that is another Tim Holtz stamp set. It's called Distress Damask. And we're going to be using this largest one here. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be stamping it in black. The kind to contrast with the brown that we just put down. So I'm going to push that up there. We're going to bring this down here, kind of center it in the stamp. And this is a Distress Damask, so it's not going to be real solid. It's going to be quite distressed looking. We're going to take our Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and we're going to be putting it on here, making sure we get in all those spaces, because I'll probably only do one stamp. I don't know if I'll double stamp it or not. We'll just see how it turns out. Okay? There, we got that inked really good. Come in with our tool here and press that on there. I find that having a stamping press like this really aids in transferring the ink from the stamp onto the paper. Oh, that's beautiful. Let's give it one more stamp just to make it just a little darker. It's just kind of in the background, kind of like the numbers and the colors and the silver. And what's so neat about this is you can stamp over top of this stuff. This is going to be kind of a distressed look anyway. So we'll see how this goes. I was showing my other tag off to some colleagues of mine, and they said, "Oh my goodness, that's as good as Tim Holtz does," which to me was very flattering. I admire Tim Holtz and his products, and I love his products, his stamps, his inks. As you can see, I use a lot of his distress spritzes, his distress inks, his oxides, and stuff to do this kind of stuff. So that gives me a dark enough thing there. I'm wiping the stamp off. We'll get it put away with the stamp set. And our tag is done as far as the distress that we're going to do on this piece right here. So that's done. We'll wipe this off a little bit. Get our magnet off of here. Always make sure you put your tools back together, so when you go to use them next time, you'll have it all there. It's ready for an acrylic stamp now. And there's our background. Okay, the next thing we need to distress is this piece right here. So what I'm going to do with it first is I'm going to do some inking here with my brown ink. This is the leftover ink from the vintage photo when I did the edges. We're just going to kind of distress it a little bit. Just going here and there, catching the highlights. This is, oh, I didn't tell you what this film strip is from. Let me show you the dies I've used before we get any further. I used 3 different die sets for this. This leaf came from the Tim Holtz set here. It's called Leaf Fragments, and this is the smallest die in the set. So that's where the leaf came from. All the push pins and, well, this one had the paper clips and our little thing that goes to the top of our tag. is from Karen Burniston's Tag Pop-Up book. Tag book pop-up. So that's our tag, our center, our paper clips. They're all on this Karen Burniston set. That's how I have my dies handled now. The push pins and the binder clips came from this set, which is a Karen Burniston photo collage pop-up card set. Oh, and our ticket came from that too. And then our last one is actually the die that came from this set. This is from Recollections. It's the Michaels brand, and it's called Tattered Film Strips. And so you get these 3 film strips, plus the one we're using that's on the back here. And that tag is, this stamp, this die is the one I used for our film, for this tag, because it was the smallest one of the set. So those are the dies I used. So let's get this distress a little more. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to do a little more distress on it. We're doing a couple things here. We're going to get out another distress spritz, kind of color it up a little bit. And I might take this, shake this up a little bit. This one's settled too. I didn't shake these before I started filming. There we go. We get it in there. And then we're going to I'm going to do some edging on this. Just darken the edges up a little bit. As much as I can, because this is, like I said, it's a tattered film strip. So to get it in these little tag pieces, I just put some definition on the sides. And we'll, you know, when I do this kind of stuff, I get ink all over myself, and that's okay. Okay, this distress spritz I'm using now is called Rusty Hinge. And we're just going to give it a tag here and there. And then we're going to dry that with the heated tool. I'm going to dab it with get the excess up. And then let's get I don't want to dry the spritz on my media mat. So we'll get that media mat cleaned off. Bring this back, and this will give it a little sheen and a little bit of shine. And what we're going to do is we're going to come back. That one spot didn't get dabbed up enough. There we go. I'm going to stretch this a little more. And we're going to bring in maybe some more highlights with make it dark in some areas. It won't hurt to do that. Got some really light areas here. That's fine too. Get some dark areas in here. There we do it with our ink. And the last thing we're going to use is this gilding. This is also our foundry wax. It's called Gilded. It's kind of a gold. So we're just going to let's see if we can do this without making a mess again with our ink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something different. Since I have a media mat here, I'm just going to pour it on the media mat. Hopefully this one isn't clogged. Yeah, we just have a little bit there, a little bit of the foundry wax. Dab it with our finger. And we're going to just highlight it on here. Give it a little bit of gold. That'll give it a little shimmer too. So there we go. All right. My finger, I think I'm going to have to wash my hands really good after this. We'll clean that up. Set it aside. And there we go. We have our distress frame. Now we have our 2 things here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start, we have to distress this. Okay. This is and I used to use this Rusty Hinge. And I covered it quite a bit. Let's see. I need to distress it around the edges first. Where's our distress? We'll distress it around the edges. That just colors the edges so it doesn't look white when you paste it down. That gives it a lot of dimension and blending in here. So we'll put these up here out of the way. And give this a little spritz. That kind of fills it up. Get a bit of damp. Well, that took it off. We don't want that. Maybe we'll do a little lighter spritz. Maybe we need to do some, there we go. Get that little lighter on there. Let's get our heater tool, dry some of that before we try to take it off again. We want it to be kind of a goldy, kind of coppery, like hinge-like that's on it. So, what we're going to use next, or we're going to bring all our little things in here, our ticket, our push pins, our paper clips, and we're going to use all these things to actually add it all together and make it dimensional. Don't forget our leaf and our tags and our things here. Okay, let's see if we can dab that a little bit now, and that'll stay on there. Okay, it's getting more of the color I want it. So let's just take our gilded again. We're going to just do it on our media mat again. Put some on there, and we're going to blend these white spaces in with this gold. So this is going to be like a goldish, coppery kind of tag at the top. And so that'll look nice when that's all done. All righty, there we go. It looks kind of like a rusty clasp there. Get our media mat cleaned up again. Maybe use a little distress water. Get that clean. I even made a mess back here with the silver. It spurted all the way to the back off the screen and created a mess. That silver did. All right. So now it's assembly time. So if we look at our tag here, they're layered. So we know our leaf goes on here. And got some silver there still stuck. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our leaf here. Looks like it got some silver on it too. So we'll just kind of rub that into there. It'll give it even more shine. This is something we've pasted down first. And then we're going to maybe use a binder. Let's move it off to the edge and maybe use a binder clip on this side, you think? Kind of show that it's clasped onto there. Or do we just use the push pins like I used before? I have 3 push pins here. One's I know is, well, actually I have 4 here. One is for the ticket. Let's go ahead and do the ticket first. So I've got silver all over my hands now. It's going to transfer to my stuff, but that's okay. This is going to be rustic looking, isn't it? So what I did with the push pin is this ticket is punched out. So I pushed it halfway through the T in ticket. That makes it look kind of like it's actually holding on to the, pushing through the ticket. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our little glue gun here. And of course, even though I just used it, it's going to clog up on me. So let's get that unclogged. A good way to unclog this, if you've used it recently, is just to push it back on its lid. Because the lid itself actually has a needle. So what we're going to do is we're just going to push this back on this needle here, if I can get it on there. Oh, there we go. Push it on there, pull it off, and that should have cleared that open. Yep, there we go. We got some glue. All right, let's get this glue on here. I love using this glue gun because it gives me just a fine bead of glue that I can use it on, and it doesn't make a mess. So we're going to take this and we're going to lay it up here in the corner with its push pin sticking into it. And I put some glue on the push pin also. So, and remember, this glue does dry clear, so you don't have to worry about that. And then we're going to lay this leaf down and put it on there. I'm going to put some glue around it. This big spot here. Make sure we get a little bit on the tail end of it. We're going to be laying it across the bottom here. Maybe we can stick a push pin in the top here. Let's see if we can get that in there. Nope. It's glued down good. Oh, nope, there's one. We can do one right there. We'll do a push pin right there. Give it a little bit of glue. Push it down. There we go. And we'll bring in our binder clip. Put a little bit of glue on it. We'll grab it, and because I didn't see this binder clip on my set until I got it. There we go. We got our background stuff in. Now our star of the show, which is our little film strip here. We're going to be applying this. Oh, it's going to cover up that push pin. Well, phooey. Can we move it? No, maybe we can move it a little bit out of the side. There we go. I'm going to have to put a little more glue on it to move it. Glue. Okay, we're going to bring it over to this side and glue it down. There we go. Because we want our push pin to show up. And our binder clip, and we'll just kind of glue this on here like that. Okay? Kind of overlapping the binder clip a little bit. But we're going to put some glue on here. Okay, we'll do some down this side and down that, down this side, down there. There we go. We got the glue on that. Bring the film strip right in through there. And there we got it down. Now we're going to bring our tag here, the tag holder. Put glue around it. We're going to be centering it with the hole that's on here. And kind of just come under that thing there. There it goes. We'll just kind of straighten that up. There we go. We got that on there. And one thing you notice about this, and I will repeat this time and time again. When you do this kind of thing, it's going to look different every single time because of the way the distress, the inking, everything is tied together. We'll take this little paper clip and we're going to put it on here. Got that glued down good. Now, you will have to glue the back because what happens is the glue's on the wrong side. So we'll just put some glue, tack this down a little bit on the back and tack that down. That'll keep it from coming off. You see the back of mine. Mine's kind of dirty and because it's been inked up and rubbed in ink and stuff like that. And my hands are quite filthy now from the ink and the glue and everything else. So we got that one on. Then we'll come up here and do this one as well. We'll do the outside, the large outside gluing of it. And we'll be putting it in here and paper clipping it onto this side. All right, there we go. We got that glued down there. We'll come back around here, put a little spot of glue right there, and glue that down. There we go. We didn't use a couple push pins or a binder clip, but that's okay. There we go. We angled our ticket differently on this one. We have our paper clips in different. This is a little lighter leaf than this one, but they're both great, beautiful tags that you can use on the front of cards. You can use it on as an accent in a scrapbook album. You can use it for all kinds of things. And who knows, maybe one of my friends will get one of these tags themselves to put in their album. We'll see you next time on The Nifty Scrapbooker. Bye.